The Voynich Manuscript, the book that refused to speak. In the dim light of a medieval workshop, sometime between 1404 and 1438, a careful hand pressed ink onto smooth calfskin parchment. Page after page, mysterious symbols took shape, looping, curling, dancing like letters, yet belonging to no known alphabet. Between the lines sprouted drawings of bizarre plants no botanist could identify. Strange, naked women bathing in green liquid pools, spirals of stars, and intricate zodiac wheels. Whoever wrote this book never signed their name. Whoever painted those odd plants left no clue about where they grew. 600 years later, the world still has no idea who made this manuscript, what language it is written in, or what it means. We simply call it the Voynich Manuscript, after the man who rediscovered it centuries later. The book's reappearance. For hundreds of years, the manuscript vanished from the historical record. Its trail grew cold until 1912, when a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich stumbled upon it while purchasing a collection of old manuscripts from the Jesuit college at Villa Mondragoni, near Rome. Voynich was fascinated the moment he saw it. The book contained about 240 vellum pages, filled with nearly 170,000 mysterious characters written in brown ink and hundreds of colorful drawings. He was convinced he had found something extraordinary, perhaps even the lost scientific work of a medieval genius. He carried it back to London, and from there, the legend of the Voynich manuscript began to spread across the world. The Emperor and the Alchemist. Voynich soon learned that the manuscript was not completely unknown. Among its pages, he discovered a faded letter written around 1665 to 1667 by a man named Johannes Marcus Marci, a physician from Prague. The letter was addressed to Athanasius Kircher, a Jesuit scholar in Rome who was famous, though often wrongly, for claiming to decipher ancient scripts. Marci's letter contained a tantalizing rumor. The manuscript, he said, had once belonged to Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, who had purchased it for 600 gold ducats, a small fortune in the 16th century. The emperor allegedly believed it had been written by Roger Bacon, the 13th century English monk known for his experiments in optics and alchemy. That rumor was irresistible. If true, it meant this book could hold the forgotten scientific secrets of the Middle Ages, or perhaps, as some whispered, the coded formula for eternal life, a trail through history. Historians later pieced together a rough journey of the manuscript before it reached Voynich. After Rudolph II's death in 1612, the manuscript may have passed into the hands of his court physician, Jakub Horchycki, also known as Jacobus Sinapius. His name, or a version of it, was faintly visible on the first page. Later, it ended up with Georg Barisch, an alchemist who lived in Prague around 1639. Barisch called it a sphinx, a puzzle that mocked every attempt at understanding. He wrote letters to Kircher, hoping the Jesuit scholar could unlock its code. But Kircher's attempts failed. When Barisch died, Marci inherited it and sent it to Kircher himself, accompanied by the now famous letter. The Jesuits kept it for centuries, tucked away in their collections, until it resurfaced in Voynich's hands in the 20th century. What's inside the book? The Voynich manuscript is divided into several mysterious sections, each filled with astonishing illustrations. Botanical section, the largest part. Each page shows a unique plant. Some vaguely resemble known species, others are completely alien. Botanists have identified none with certainty. Astronomical section. Circular charts of stars, suns, moons, and zodiac symbols fill these pages. Some include what look like constellations or planetary cycles. Biological or balneological section. This section depicts dozens of nude women bathing in interconnected green pools and tubes, as if representing some unknown medical or mystical process. Cosmological section, complex circular diagrams that seem to show the structure of the universe, or perhaps maps of the mind. Pharmaceutical section, drawings of herbs, roots, and jars that could be alchemical recipes or remedies. Recipe section, pages filled with short paragraphs of text marked with stars or symbols, as if listing instructions or potions. No explanation, no index, and no known alphabet. Every attempt to match its writing to a known language or code has failed. Science takes the case. When modern scientists finally examined the manuscript, the mystery only deepened. In 2009 to 2011, researchers at the University of Arizona performed radiocarbon dating on the vellum pages. The results placed its creation firmly between 1404 and 1438, right in the heart of the European Renaissance. That meant the claim that Roger Bacon, who died in 1292, had written it was impossible. Chemical analysis of the ink and paint confirmed that all the materials, iron gall ink, copper-based pigments, and plant dyes, were consistent with early 15th century Europe. The manuscript was genuine, not a modern forgery. Yet the text itself, about 35,000 unique word tokens written in what's now called Voynichese, has resisted every code-breaking attempt. The code-breaker's century. The manuscript's modern life has been one long parade of brilliant failures. In the 1920s, William Romain Newbold, a professor from the University of Pennsylvania, claimed he had deciphered it using a microscopic shorthand hidden in the letters. His work was later debunked as wishful thinking. During World War II, legendary U.S. codebreaker William F. Friedman, who helped crack Japanese military ciphers, led a team to study the book. Even with his unmatched expertise, Friedman concluded that if it was a cipher, it used methods unlike any known code in history. In 2003, researcher Gordon Rugg proposed that it might be a hoax, a meaningless text produced using a Cardan grill, a kind of randomizing device. Yet the book's internal logic, the repetition patterns, the word structure, and section-specific vocabulary suggest otherwise. The text behaves statistically like a real language, not random nonsense. Over the years, countless others have tried. Some claimed it was written in ancient Turkish, others said it was Hebrew, Nahuatl, or even an invented Proto-Romance language. In 2019, a British researcher named Gerard Cheshire made headlines by declaring he had solved it, only to be widely criticized for inaccuracies and unprovable translations. Each time, the manuscript seems to smile silently, guarding its secret. Rumors, myths, and strange theories. Where knowledge fails, rumor takes root. Some believe the Voynich Manuscript was created by a secret society, perhaps a group of alchemists or early scientists who encoded their discoveries to avoid persecution. Others insist it's a medieval medical guide for women, based on the frequent depictions of female figures and plants. A few have gone further, suggesting it was written in an unknown alien or angelic script, or that it's an early attempt at an artificial language, centuries before Esperanto. A popular modern theory hints that it might have been written in Central or Eastern Europe, possibly Italy, Bohemia, or northern Spain, due to stylistic hints in the artwork, but no region can claim it definitively. A closer look at the language of the unknown. Computational linguists have examined the manuscript using statistical and AI methods. Their findings are fascinating. The words follow rules. Certain symbols only appear at the start or end of words, as in real languages. The text's structure shows repetition and frequency patterns similar to European languages like Latin or Italian. The vocabulary changes by section, suggesting that the writer knew what they were writing. Different topics seem to have different terminology. Yet, without knowing what any symbol truly represents, all of this remains a riddle within a riddle, where the mystery lives. Today. Since 1969, the Voynich Manuscript has been kept safely at Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, cataloged as MS408. It no longer hides in dusty corners or locked cabinets. It is digitized, scanned in high resolution, and freely available online. Anyone, scholar or amateur, can study it now. Yet despite this global access, no one has cracked it. The words remain mute, the meaning untold. The pages whisper of lost knowledge, forgotten sciences, secret languages, or perhaps just the art of mystery itself. What might it be? If the manuscript is not a hoax, and evidence strongly suggests it isn't, then it must be one of three things: a cipher, a coded document using substitution or transposition unknown to modern cryptography; a lost language, perhaps a local dialect, shorthand, or phonetic script no longer known; an invented language, a constructed linguistic system created by a brilliant, eccentric mind long before the modern idea of conlangs existed. Whichever it is, its author was a genius, methodical, consistent, and deliberate. The book that refused to speak. 600 years after ink first touched vellum, the Voynich Manuscript continues to defy explanation. It has outlasted empires, religions, and even the very languages that surrounded it. It has been handled by emperors, priests, scientists, and codebreakers. It has survived wars and the decay of time, and still, no one has read a single clear sentence of it. Its pages remain intact, delicate but defiant, covered in symbols that seem to laugh at human logic. Perhaps one day an algorithm, a historian, or an inspired linguist will finally understand the message hidden inside. Until then, the Voynich Manuscript is both a book and a mirror, reflecting not just the mysteries of the past, but humanity's endless hunger to understand what we cannot yet know. Epilogue: The Eternal Enigma. Every so often, a new researcher claims to have solved it. Newspapers announce a breakthrough. Hope sparks and fades. The mystery lives on. Maybe the truth isn't meant to be found yet. Maybe in some quiet way, the Voynich Manuscript was written not to reveal, but to endure, to remind us that curiosity itself is the greatest human code. And so, as the centuries turn and technology advances, one thing remains certain. The Voynich Manuscript still whispers, still guards its secret, and still waits, silently, for someone who can finally make it speak.